In my last video, I argued that the Game Boy kinda sucked, which is an odd thing coming from a Game Boy fan. Well, now I have the perfect Game Boy. Let me show you. So I browse a lot of Game Boy related online communities, as you can imagine. One of them is the Game Boy subreddit. There's a lot of people sharing pictures of their collections and showing modifications they did there, all that kind of cool stuff if you're into this console. And a few months ago, I came across this post by user Is This Really Real? A modder in the community. He buys Game Boys, modifies them, and sells them back to the community. So really interesting service this guy provides, and I fell in love with that picture, that Game Boy Pocket with the original Game Boy color scheme, as we call it in the community, the DMG, which stands for Dot Matrix Game Boy. That look is the most iconic Game Boy look to me. The gray with the purple buttons and the black D-pad here. I love that look. And I love the form factor of the Pocket, which is leaps and bounds better than the original Game Boy. So I love that combo, the Game Boy Pocket with the original Game Boy color scheme and a backlit and biverted screen. Like you remember from my previous videos, most of my issues with the Game Boy stem from the fact that the screen is not that great. And this guy right here fixes all of those issues. So what did Is This Really Real do to this Game Boy? So he bought this unit from Japan. As the Game Boy collector among you guys might know, this model of Game Boy was never actually released in North America, proving once again that Nintendo has some weird business decisions. I don't see why they would limit this to the Japanese market. But anyway, that's what happened. So these are kind of hard to come by, which adds to the whole I gotta have it appeal for collectors like myself. So I spoke with him on Reddit and I said, this is, I linked him the picture of his previous modification that looked exactly like this, and I said, I want something just like that. Just tell me how much it is and let's make this happen. So he gave me a quote for the system. This cost $150 American. So this is what he did. He had to import this unit from Japan and he had to wait for it to get there. And I did say, he said that the price varies a bunch depending on the condition of the system. And of course, being a collector, and this is going to be my daily driver, this is the one I'm actually going to be playing on, I wanted the best condition he could find, and he found a pretty good one. This is in really decent condition. He did say that he cleaned it up some more and everything to look even better, but there's no major issues with the body. There's a couple of minor scratches on this corner here. I'm not sure if you can even see that in the video. There's a few things here, but it looks really good. So the main thing here is, of course, as you can see, it has a backlit screen, but not only backlit, this is also biverted. Now, I'm not an expert on these things, but what the guy told me, and I did a little bit of reading, but I'm not really that great with electronics, so bear with me. This explanation is as dumb as I can understand it. So basically what this does is they solder a logic chip onto the system, and that repeats the signal, and then they take a piece of polarized filter and they install it on the screen, but they rotate it 90 degrees, and what that does is that it creates a much better contrast on your image, which is a must-have. If you ever played on a mod, dude, I love this. You have no idea how much I love this thing. The fact that I got it in my hands right now. If you ever played on a Game Boy that has had a backlit mod installed but is not biverted, it's very washed out, so it's not the best way to play games. It's great to have that backlight, but it doesn't look the great. Look at this thing, dude. Look at this! Oh, and I almost forgot. He goes by Game Boy RD on Instagram. I'm gonna leave the link to his profile down below for you to check out his work. There's also this right here. Check this out. So instead of the regular battery well here in the back, so he installed a rechargeable battery here. It has 1000 milliamp hour, and I didn't get to play with it very much, so I'm not sure how this performs, considering it has a backlight and the whole biverted mod too. It also uses up more energy, right? But I expect pretty decent battery life. Maybe I should have asked that before. And as you can see here, let me bring it a little bit closer. There is a mini USB port here, and it's really nice and flush with the device. This guy is really good, that you can use to charge the device. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that you have to take this out to charge it, and the position of the support means that you have to face this down, like you have to put it face down on your table to charge it. I'm not a huge fan of that positioning. I imagine that this is just it's more convenient to have it close like this. I would have preferred to have this on the side so that I could charge it when it's resting on the table like this. But that is just a minor thing. I'm still very happy with the quality, with the result. This thing looks exactly like the one I saw months ago when I first reached out to him. So I'm super excited for this. This guy, as you know, I have a bunch of Game Boys that I have on display cases behind my computer. And when I got this and I posted pictures here on YouTube and on Instagram, people asked if I was going to frame this one as well. And there's no fucking way. The only way I would frame this is that if I could rig it to have a cable running back here and have a power supply consistently feeding the unit, and it could be running in the back there inside a frame, but also in a way where I could easily detach it to play too. This would look amazing as a piece of decoration for a collector of the Game Boy, but this costs a pretty penny and I love it too much and I want to actually play with it, so I don't think I'm going to be framing it. I'm not even sure if it's viable to have that constantly feeding, to have a mini USB cable constantly feeding power to the unit here to have it on display permanently. I'm not sure how viable that is to the electronics and everything like that. Interesting idea. I love the idea of having this thing up on my wall like this, constantly running, you know, Pokemon or what have you. Just to see how long the counter on the save game, the file, when you go to save it, it shows how long you've been playing. It'd be kind of funny to see that, how long that number could get if you were to leave this thing running indefinitely. But yeah, I want to have this in my pocket. See, the only problem with having this in my pocket, let me change the game here. What else I got here nearby? I think I have a copy of Mario here. Yeah, I have Alleyway here. Speaking of games, one other thing, look at this thing, dude. You can't tell me this, oh my god, this is beautiful. He also installed a 5-volt regulator on this unit to support flash card. As you know, flash cards are cartridges, game cartridges, that allow you to run ROMs on the system. Now, of course, we're talking about piracy here, but I am a collector. I like to have the actual games and the actual systems, right? So I'm okay with the idea of using flash cards to basically so I don't have to carry all these games with me. And especially if the game that you're downloading to run like this is not commercially available in any way whatsoever. Like say a game like Pokemon, I'm not cool with downloading a ROM for a game like this because you can still buy this on the virtual console. So that's not, you know, I know people are gonna do it. That's what people buy flash cards for. I'm just not the biggest fan of that because, you know, we're talking about piracy and we can afford these things now, right? So it's not super cool to steal these games. But yeah, so I'm not planning on getting a flash card. I don't even have a flash card for the Game Boy, but I wanted to get the regulator because the way I look at it, when I'm investing in a tech product, I rather get all the bells and whistles than save a little bit of money and then regret it down the road. So if I choose to one day get a flash card, this thing is ready to go. And there you have it. This, in my opinion, is the perfect Game Boy. I could not be happier with the result here. And as I said, I'm going to leave the link in the description to his Instagram, the guy who modded this. Game Boy Ardeen is his name on Instagram, so you can go check out his work. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a like. That helps out a lot. If you do subscribe, hit the notification bell because, as you know, YouTube doesn't do the best job at letting you know that new videos have come out. And that's all the time I have for today. I'll see you guys next time.